Hi, I'm Mitch Gallagher. Welcome to Sweetwater's Guitars and Gear. This time out, we have a very special guest, Phil Demmel from Machinehead. Thanks for coming in, man.
Very special.
Appreciate it. Absolutely.
Upgraded to very.
Yes, very, very special. Even.
Thanks for having me, man. It's great to be out here.
You're playing here in town.
Playing at Pierre's here in town, yeah.
Nice,
Haven't played here in 7 years. And, Machinehead is doing this kind of a Nooks and Crannies tour. That we're trying to get out to all the places that we don't normally get to.
Right.
And Fort Wayne, we haven't played here for about 7 years, since Lamb of God. And
right.
Like we were just talking about it. We played 2 shows in North Dakota, which is like has never been uttered in the Machinehead vernacular. You know, hey, we got 2 shows in North Dakota. So.
Right. So you're covering some ground.
Yeah, it's fun.
You're here in the States for a while, and then you're going over to Europe, correct?
We are. Yeah, we're in the middle of like a 3-week little thing here, and then we're going over to Europe to do an underplay over there. We're usually play arenas over there, and we're doing little 500 seaters, and like our UK dates sold out in like 30 minutes or something like that. So it's
nice.
We just loving getting in intimate shows, small sweaty rooms, being right on top of them. So it's exciting.
Right. And you guys are working on some new music as well.
We are. We're recording a new record, and it's going to be out in November, and yeah, we're looking forward to that.
Right. One really cool thing you're doing is the video blog installments of the recording process. I was checking some of that out, and you guys are going in pretty much detail, talking about I was watching the one about the bass, and they were talking about compression and how they were tracking it with DIs and stuff. I mean, it's not just for the general public. You're getting pretty deep into the recording side of it.
Yeah. Even Rob was saying at the outset, he kind of prefaced the whole vlog thing with, it's just like, hey, this is going to be pretty boring techie stuff. So if you don't want to watch this, then watch the other stuff on the sidebars, if you watch the videos and stuff like that. So people are digging it, though. It's you get to see a side of Machinehead that you don't normally do.
Yeah, very cool. So tell us how you got started. Where are you from originally, and how did you start playing guitar?
Man, I'm from Dublin, California, which is in the East Bay, San Francisco Bay Area. And it was kind of a little hotbed of, in the late 80s, the thrash movement kind of got big there. And there was a group of us out of Dublin that really did some good stuff. Steve Souza from Exodus came out, Chuck Billy from Testament came out, and I played in a thrash band called Violence. And right out of high school, I joined this band, and I was just really drawn to the aggressiveness of it. There was just a lot of energy involved, and Metallica was spearheading the whole Bay Area movement, and got to see those guys play in little clubs in front of 50 people and 100 people, and watching them grow and seeing them, their biggest band in the world pretty much. AC/DC and U2 might have something to say about that, but for us to see them come from these Smirnoff guzzling dudes into these icons, they paved the way, and they gave us all hope that it was possible. So put out a record when I was 21 years old, and it's exciting to be on tour, and I just knew that I wanted to be in a band. I had, as soon as I got my cousin Ron gave me Kiss Alive, and it was, I want to be a performer, and not necessarily a guitar player, but I would just want to be in a band, and I got a little drum set and put the Kiss, wrapped it in foil, the little stencils, and put on concerts in my backyard, and put the makeup on, and heard AC/DC for the first time. And just to hear Angus just to emote through his guitar, and just he could just he could sound drunk or happy or pissed or and just the way he just emoted through his guitar, I was really drawn to. So I started playing probably like 1978, 79, and then a couple years later, I saw an ad for the Ozzy Osbourne record and heard the Crazy Train riff and said, "Who is this? Can I curse? Is that all right? Can you bleep it out?"
They'll bleep it, yeah.
But watching Randy Rhoads and hearing him play this riff, I was just amazed, and went to my first concert in 1981. And it was Dan the Green in the Bay Area at the Oakland Coliseum. And it was just like festivals. It was like they'd have them in the summer. And this one was Eric Martin Band, who was in a band called 415 back in the day. So he opened, but Ozzy was on second. then it was Loverboy and Pat Travers and Blue Oyster Cult and Heart, because they were headlining. And then so I got there at 6 a.m. to get up front to see Ozzy play at 10 a.m. and watching Randy play and just own the stage. And another thing, just the emotion that he showed. He played with such passion, and you just really felt what he was playing. And it just became my hero on the spot. I mean, the polka dots.
Sure.
So
yeah,
he was my dude.
Right.
So I was fortunate enough to put out records with Violence and tour and get a taste of that and know that that's what I wanted to do. The grunge thing came up and just wiped all of the thrash away, and everybody was wearing flannel and, being sad. And, and so Rob and I, Rob Flynn, the singer and founder of Machinehead, were playing together in Violence at that point. And we kind of grew up playing guitar together, and we learned together, and we would go watch the local heroes together. And we just had this brotherhood of playing. And there became a split to where Violence was really not doing much, and he needed to keep playing. So he's formed Machinehead, and they instantly became one of my favorite bands,
Right.
So down the years, they became popular, they blew up, and I kind of just gave up on music for a bit, and they needed a guitar player for a 2-week run overseas. And I was joking around with the bass player at the time and saying, okay, well, I'll just wheel my stuff over there and practice. And he was just like, okay, well, we're ready for you, And I'm all, I'm serious, are you serious? And I kind of went into like, hey, yeah, well, then come out. I was quitting music. It would be my last hurrah, playing overseas festivals, and didn't really get overseas. And it would bring a lot of closure to my musical career. And so I did that, and the chemistry was just magic, It's just him and I playing together again, and the first rehearsal was like I played a bunch of the stuff that they hadn't played in years, and they were like, wow, this is great, And
Right.
so we just went overseas and just killed it, and came home, and certain things in my life opened up to where it's like, man, I want to be in this band, And they were writing as a 3-piece at the time, and they're saying, well, we're kind of waiting for you. And so just jumped in, and that was about 12 years ago.
Nice.
So put out 3, working on 4 records with them now, and the band was kind of in a weird transition part, and they had experimented with certain things in the late 90s. There were so many music trends going on and fashion and stuff like that, and they were kind of in a direction, lost for direction at the time, and they had kind of made this cognizant effort to go, look, man, we're a metal band. Let's just go out and be metal and be ourselves. If we're going to go out, let's go out on our terms. And because the labels were we were looking for a label, and it was just like, let's just be ourselves. If we're gonna go out, it's on our terms. We're gonna have our middle finger up, and it's gonna be on our terms. And it just blew up. And so we've been on a upward swing ever since. Got nominated for Grammy, and
all kinds of Metal Hammer awards.
Yeah, the Metal Hammer and Kerrang awards, and we beat. It's been crazy. So I've just been hands up, join the roller coaster ride, and just wherever it takes us, let's just take it, and let's just be what we're doing. So it's exciting. So we were on the road for the Blackening for like 3 years. We went out with the biggest metal bands in the world taking us out. We toured with Lamb of God. We toured with Slipknot for a year all over the world. We went out with Metallica for so many dates, and just to watch and see that it's playing extreme music and heavy music like we do, to see that it's possible, it's just really inspiring.
Right. Now, talking about you play heavy music, it's interesting, though, listening to your music, clearly there's a lot of influences going on there, because you guys have the heavy guitars, but then there's also the melodic guitars, and there's some interesting breaks. Great example I was listening to was Halo, where there's the heavy sections, and then there's the low dynamic, quieter section, and then the harmonies behind the chorus. Where does all that come from? Where do you draw that from?
I mean, you're dealing with 47, 48-year-old dudes that have listened to all kinds of music. I mean, you brought up Halo, for example, and, Rob, actually our drummer wrote the riff, the main riff, with the harmonic. He wrote that, and I added the harmonic later, but he wrote the riff, so it got like nominated for best riff of the decade or something like that. And me and Rob were like, our drummer wrote that riff, So we draw from all kinds of different inspiration and influences. And the breakdown in Halo is actually, I mean, if you listen to it, it's really Cure inspired, you know, by the Cure, and Rob was into them, and then Coldplay into Coldplay too. So it's, Dave is into Rush, and, you know, we're both into Kiss, and I'm like into AC/DC, traditional classic rock, but I love Elton John, and you know, and Rob's into hip hop, and you know, there are some parts where it's like, oh, that sounds like, you know, you listen to some hip hop songs, and he's all, yeah, I got maybe this little part was a little, you know, jacked a little bit from here or whatever. So we're music fans. We all love music, so of course you know, by proxy, everything kind of comes in, and it's kind of osmosis where it filters through you, and it comes out in a certain way. So it depends on moods, and we're a band that writes on emotion and life experiences, you know. So it's a lot of the stuff, especially in the past couple of records, are coming from, and Rob's always written that way. I've helped him a little bit with lyrics on the past couple, but it's, you know, it's all from life experiences and emotions.
Right. So when you guys have you mentioned Dave, your drummer, brought in the guitar riff. How do you build a song from that? What's the process you guys go through when you're writing music like that?
Well, usually we have a string of a couple riffs. Me and Rob and Dave will bring in a riff or a couple of riffs together, and we say, hey, I'm thinking of a, you know, halftime beat over this, or kind of maybe a tom, or maybe inverted. And so we just try, we run the gamut with all the, you know, all the drum machine, you know, play this beat over this or this beat, you know, and Dave's like our drum machine, you know, and he'll come up with some crazy Keith Moon stuff sometimes, and it's all feel. So we have a couple of pieces, you know, hey, that sounds like it could be a chorus, or you know, something's obviously an intro, you know, and so we just take it from there.
Right.
And people just, you know, we'll jam it through a couple of times, and what's next? And then somebody will go into something, or take it to a key change over here, or, you know, or somebody have an idea, and it just gets built that way. Rob hates it when I call him our sandwich maker, so I'm not going to say that anymore. I'm going to come up with a way cooler term. You know, he's our, you know, he's our composer. We come up with parts, and he structures them together. And he always has a vision for a song, and, you know, a couple songs on this, on the past record, and a couple on this record, it's been, you know, I've got a vision, just let me, you know, let me just trust me. And sometimes we're like, this song's on the chopping block, man, and it'll come back, and it's got, you know, all kinds of new stuff to it, or new lyrics, and we're like, wow, that is awesome. Right. So he's our leader, and in many more ways, but in that sense especially.
Now, what about, you guys covered Iron Maiden's, one of their classic songs, Hallowed Be Thy Name. And it was interesting to me because you're fairly faithful to the original, but you also put your own stamp on it, especially with the guitar, the solos and things that you're doing there. How did you approach putting something like that together? Metal
Hammer magazine had approached us a few years before to do, they were doing a Metallica tribute. So we wanted to do Battery, so we did it for them. Went over great, came over great, and we played it right to the T. So they came back with an Iron Maiden tribute record they're doing, and Hallowed Be Thy Name is one of my favorite songs of all time.
Right.
And I think it's the perfect heavy metal song. And even like in my earlier bands, I was in a band called On Parole, and all my songs were written about the gallows, you know, or somebody waiting to go get hanged or something like that, just based on that song. And so we always want to pay homage to the artists that we're doing it. We did it with Judas Priest on the Sentinel on the last record too. We want to play it the way they played it, and especially the solos. You know, those guys, that's part of the song. You don't take liberty with the lyrics, so we don't take liberty with their melodies and their solos. We want to, you know, be respectful in that sense. But then there's like the breakdown part in Hallowed, where we decided to just make it sing a little heavier, break it down a little bit, and so we wanted to make it sound Machinehead. Well, I mean, we tuned down, and they played in E440, and we play in C sharp standard, but we tune to 480, so we're not quite a quarter step sharp, and it's just because of the Boss T2 tuner has the lights. So if you go 490, then it's going to bounce back between the two notes. It'll go C sharp D, C sharp D. You know, we want to just have that one little light play on it.
Okay.
So that's how we change it because we tune down.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Helps with the vocals too.
Yeah, well, he's Bruce Dickinson's kind of
Yeah, so
way up there.
We stepped him down a step and a half.
Right. So when you're developing a song like that, or any of the songs that you guys are working on, obviously you have two guitar players. How do you decide on who plays what? Because the rhythms are extremely tight when you're playing the riffs and things. Is one of you doing those? Are you both doing those? Or how do you arrange that?
Well,
kind of thing?
on that song, I tracked the other guitar. On Battery, I tracked that other guitar. It's just a feeling thing. Hey, you take the first solo, or you know, this one kind of sounds like him, like the Murray solo sounded more like him, his style, and so he took that, and you know, the harmony stuff and the rhythm stuff was just something that came. But since then, I think that's the last thing that I tracked rhythms for on Locust and on the new record. We did Pantera. We did another tribute thing, and we did Pantera effing Hostile, and I played a little bit, and it's always, you know, the picking was just so tight and so precise that, you know, Rob's a stronger rhythm player than I am. He's better timing and just all around. So he's all, let me just see if I can match it up. And because one guy playing, you know, it's always going to sound better because there's just so much the tone and everything. You could have one guy playing through the same rig, same guitar, but it's going to sound completely different too. So, so we just, you know, I just conceded that it's going to go faster. You know, me trying to play like you, why don't you just play so you can match like you?
Yeah.
Way better, sounds better. So, but for the Maiden thing, there was, you know, you still get that guitar team kind of mentality because it's not exactly perfect, but you still get the two different feelings from it.
Right. So you mentioned tone, you mentioned guitar, and you are holding your signature guitar here. And actually, we've got another one here as well. But tell us about how this guitar came about.
About 2007. I had been hounding John Walk over at Jackson Fender. I had been indoors since 2003 or so, and I've been getting guitars, and I was hanging out with Christian from Fear Factory at the time, who had a signature, and John kind of joked to me in passing, hey, I'll get you a signature someday or something like that. I'm never, ever letting you go mad, you know, so every 6 months or so, hey. And Brian McDonald, who was there at the time, was really instrumental in getting me a signature. And I love the King V. Robin Crosby from Rat had helped design it, so way to go, Robin, you know.
Right.
And I love the King V. And so what I did was I took these cutouts right here. I mean, if these lines were to continue, it would just be a regular King V, but I liked the pointy guitars. It looks like a King V giving birth to another King V. You know? So that was my setup. I see all these guitars, metal guys playing guitars with tone controls that they never touch. They never touch the tone controls, and they take up space, you know. So I said, getting rid of the tone controls, not going to use them. So volume and volume for each. Using the, I got the Hetfield EMG set on here. I think these are 60s here. So I go 81 and 60 here, a little more bluesy on here. I got 85s on my other guitars too. So this is a custom shop guitar.
Okay.
Alder body, maple neck through. Gotta have the ebony fretboard because it's black. And I had Adam Reaver at Floyd Rose Upgrades put in the titanium screws and blocks, and at the nut right here, and I think I got it on the back, but he's got a huge block in the back too, so it's got great sustain in this. Right. And of course the polka dots for Randy. Right. You know, so I had them do, in 2009 I had them do two tribute guitars for me. I had them do this one, and then I have a fixed bridge with a 3-3 headstock, and it's black and white for Michael Schenker. Okay. So I had a Schenker model made, and we were lucky enough last year to play or 2012, play the Wacken Festival, and Rudy was there. And I'd met Rudy at a Metallica show. He came by and got his emails weird. I'm emailing Rudy Schenker, you know? Right. Because he's got a son our age, and he was a Machinehead fan. And so I said, hey, we're playing Wacken. If I bring my guitar, will you sign it? Because he plays the same one, you know? So I got him to sign it. And then a month later, Michael was coming through town, and I knew the local promoter, Mike Beard. And he had arranged for me to talk to the tour manager. Hey, I just want to get my guitar signed. And the tour manager came back. He's all, hey, yeah, what if you played Dr. Doctor with him and I went, don't you effing tease me, you better not be playing.
Right.
And then he ended up working it out to where I came down and played Dr. Doctor with him. And then at the end of the song, I had a Sharpie in my pocket. I took the guitar off, and he was wailing with one hand and signing my guitar with the other. So I've got Rudy's and Michael's signatures on the guitar.
Nice.
Put away. It's in the vault. We'll play it again.
Absolutely. That's very cool. Very cool.
So I like the unfinished neck on mine because there's a lot of sweat and water and sometimes booze involved in a Machinehead show.
Right.
So it gums up on the back, and this keeps it nice and slick, slick as snot, as my grandfather would say. And got the white binding on these. I think some of the new ones have the black binding on it. So yeah, that's the fella, Floyd Rose.
Right. One of the things you've accomplished with the maple neck and the ebony fingerboard is it really balances out that alder, because the alder gives you the resonance with that lighter weight.
Exactly.
And then the brighter woods come together. It gives you a really balanced sounding guitar.
Balance sounding, balance in construction too. A lot of I can't play a Strat because it looks ridiculous on me, for one. And just because of I've been playing either a shark fin or a VO all my life, so my hand position is pretty centered. And when I get a Strat, then I just have to bring it all the way over, and then my fingers are all like this, and it just cramps me up.
It's a different thing.
Yeah, and they're not balanced on me either, so they'll fall down.
Right. So this is one of the production guitars that we have here. I can swap that with
Swapperoo.
Put that one here.
All right, this is the PDXHT for hard tail. So a lot of the people were coming to me and saying, hey, I don't like the Floyd Rose. I can't change the strings, or I don't like the same tuning and stuff like that. So came up with the hardtail version. So it's got the string through in the back. This is, like I said, I was from the East Bay, so I was born an Oakland Raider fan. So the silver and the black. So my one of my favorite Raiders was Howie Long. So I have one from the custom shop that I call Howie.
Okay.
And that one's obviously Randy. And so with the hardtail, neck through, same deal. I think the PDX 2s, which have the Floyd on them, and these come with the rosewood fretboards. Same deal, alder, maple.
Right.
And
I think that one has the even G passives, right?
They do. These have the passives over here, right?
Right, so you don't have the battery with those, but you still got the 2 volume controls.
Same deal.
Yeah.
Same deal.
Nice.
So I have a couple of the ones that I play. I have a baritone that they made for me too, with just the 81 and just with 1 volume. And I've got a cracked mirror, same deal. So yeah, there you go.
Very nice. Very cool. Phil, thanks so much for coming in.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
Thank you for
being
having
here.
me.
It's a pleasure to get to chat with you, get to know you a little bit.
Yeah.
Thanks for spending time with us.
Right. Check out Machinehead on tour here.
We'll do it.
All right.
Look for the new record.
Yep.
All right. I'm Mitch Gallagher. Thanks for joining me for Sweetwater's Guitars and Gear.